Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today at the next session of our UWindsor Live program. This is the Fees and Financial Aid session. And once again, you may recognize me from a previous session. My name is Chris Bush, and I'm the Associate Vice President of Enrollment Management here at the university. And I'm going to be your host for the start of the session today. We're going to start today with a presentation from our Fees and Financial Aid group. And after that, just like previous sessions, we'll go into question and answers with our panelists as well. So with that, please sit back and, as they say, enjoy the show.
Welcome, future Lancers. I'm excited today to be talking to you about student awards, financial aid, and student fees at the University of Windsor. My name is Chasidia, and I'm the Student Awards Outreach Coordinator in the Student Awards and Financial Aid Office. Today I'll be discussing various topics, including the importance of developing a budget, the various strategies for saving during your university degree, the Work-Study Ignite program, the various scholarships, bursaries, and awards the University of Windsor offers. I'll be talking about OSAP, proof of enrollment, as well as student accounts, or otherwise known as the cashier's office, and we'll be talking about the important dates that you should be indicating in your calendars so as not to miss them for both scholarships and when your fees are due. We always encourage incoming students, whether they're in their undergrad or grad program, to create a budget which is going to outline your estimated resources, so your scholarships, bursaries, awards, and savings that you may have with your expenses. Now, these expenses can range anywhere from your educational costs, which would be your tuition, your accommodation, are you choosing to live in residence versus staying at home, transportation costs, and so on. A great way to track your spending is to create a daily log so you can see what areas you're putting more money into. By considering your priorities on what's most important, i.e., do you want to live on campus and save time from commuting, or are you okay with taking that extra 30-40 minutes to commute if that saves money from residence? This will help you create some realistic goals and expectations for your university degree. Another key question we always tell students are, how much debt are you comfortable with? We want you to be able to answer these questions realistically so that it doesn't come to a surprise on how expensive university will be at the end of the 4 years. So there's various strategies for saving both on and off campus. Some of these are impacted by COVID right now, so please keep that in mind. So opting out of the drug and dental plan is a way to save money. If you're covered under your parents' drug and dental plan and you're able to opt out of this could save you around $200, $230 each year. The book buyback at the campus bookstore, again, because of COVID, this is going to be affected. Gym membership, so once the St. Denis facility is available on campus, this is a great way to release some stress, exercise, and not have to pay a gym membership. Organizations like Students Offering Support offers tutoring services to students in various areas, whether it be sciences, psychology, business. You pay a $20 fee, you get a 3-hour lecture from a student who's taken the course and is able to present the material in a different manner and is able to answer questions for you outside of going to professor's office hours or teaching assistant hours. And this $20 fee goes back to the student group where they go to third world countries during the summer to help build classrooms. Other great organizations include STEPS, as well as the Leddy Library Data Center and Leddy Library Writing Desk. So these are free services where you're able to get assistance with writing help. They also offer assistance with MLA and APA formatting and ensuring that you're citing your work correctly. And additionally, almost every department offers free or affordable tutoring services. So if you do need extra assistance with English or math, almost every department does offer these services so that you are not having to pay a lot of money to have a tutor outside of the classroom. Additionally, you want to be applying for scholarships, awards, and bursaries, as this will help chip away at the amount of tuition you'll have to pay for. I briefly want to talk about the Ignite Work-Study program, which funds part-time jobs on campus for students. So outside of the financial benefits of this program, you are able to really develop your skills, whether it is with organization or public speaking or teamwork, and these transferable skills are going to help you in the long run when you're applying for a job following your university degree. Additionally, this is a great way to network with staff on campus and meet other students and develop great friendships. So students are eligible to earn up to $2,000 over the academic year through this program. And if you want more information on if you are eligible to apply for it and the different rules and regulations, I highly advise that you go to the link at the bottom of the screen and see if this is something that you would be interested in during your time at the university. So next, I'll be going over the Student Awards and Financial Aid Office, which is where I call home 5 days out of the week. And I'll be talking about scholarships, bursaries, awards, and OSAP. So the first and most important thing you're going to want to do is apply for scholarships, awards, and bursaries through the University of Windsor. The University of Windsor offers over $11 million every year in scholarships, bursaries, and awards to deserving students such as yourselves. So you want to take that time to complete your UWin award profile, which will be found on your UWin site each and every year. So for incoming students, you would have already completed the first award profile for entering awards and bursaries, but you have another opportunity among all current students to complete another award application, which will be available in August. And again, you can do this every year, and this will allow you more opportunities to be considered for the various scholarships and bursaries based on the program you're in, financial need, if you're involved in sports, if you are involved in your community, and so on. So the deadlines for each award and bursary are noted in the profile. So once you complete the initial section, which looks at information about your program, your grades, any self-identifying information and financial need, you'll then be matched with the specific awards that are applicable to your profile. And these deadlines are between early September and end of March. And many of these scholarships and awards, which we have over 800 at the undergraduate level alone, are both merit-based and need-based awards, or a combination of both. And community service, leadership are often a consideration in many of the scholarships, whether it's you writing an essay to talk about your leadership skills, teamwork skills, organizational skills, or including a letter of reference. We start the adjudication process in early November, and an early submission, which means by October 15th, guarantees your consideration for all awards. So like I mentioned, there's numerous opportunities to be considered for different scholarships and bursaries at the University of Windsor. It just takes your effort to complete that profile and help you be considered for different scholarships and bursaries. And this is a great opportunity, again, to not only chip away at the amount of money you'll have to pay for tuition, but it also looks great on your resume if you can say you were selected for a leadership award that highlights your different accomplishments both on and off campus. So the UWin Award application, like I mentioned, is how you will be considered for different scholarships and bursaries through the University of Windsor. Your first application or profile will allow you to apply for all of the awards in which you're matched, which again I mentioned are going to be based on your program, year, financial need, community involvement, etc. So it's always important to read through the profile carefully to ensure that you're not missing any questions or are not missing any important information that's needed in order to match you with different scholarships. So there's no limit on the number of applications you can submit with each scholarship, and I will be providing assistance in August when you are completing your profile should you have any questions or need extra assistance when completing your profile. Outside of applying for the University of Windsor scholarships, we're always encouraging students to see what other local, national, global scholarships are available that you can apply for to help you pay for your university degree. So whether you visit the following sites on this slide or talk to your high school to see if there's any high school specific scholarships for your graduating class, and talk to your parents. If your parents belong to unions, there may be union scholarships available. I know when I was in high school, I applied for union scholarships through both of my parents and was able to receive scholarships. Various community agencies such as banks and other nonprofits offer scholarships for students. So it just means you need to take the time, do some research, because it will pay off in the end. I was one of those students who applied for scholarships as if it was a part-time job, and it really paid off in the end for me because I took that time to write those essays, ask for those letters of references, be involved in my community, do well in school, and get enough scholarship dollars that it helped me pay for my whole first degree. So that meant I was able to save over $30,000 because of all the scholarships and bursaries I received. And so many students who are entering university right now are doing the same. They're applying for scholarships, they're taking the time to apply for a $500, $1,000, $2,000 scholarship, and it all adds up. And most of them have their first year, if not their whole degree, paid for. So next, I'm briefly going to be talking about OSAP, which is always a fun topic to talk about. And with the changes this year in terms of the impact that COVID is having, I'll briefly outline what OSAP looks like right now. So something we always tell students, whether they're coming into university or are in university, is that OSAP is a student aid program that's here to assist students with financing their post-secondary degree. The key word I want to highlight is assist. It's not here to pay for your whole degree. The school, OSAP, expects you to also be applying for scholarships and bursaries, potentially having a part-time job, and using any savings you may have to help you when you are going through university. So if you aren't already aware, the applications for the 2020-2021 academic year are available. We're encouraging students to apply early for scholarships and bursaries and complete your OSAP application no later than mid-July. So a lot of people wonder, well, what is OSAP? Well, OSAP is part grant, bursary, and scholarship. So this means you do not have to pay it back, you get to keep it, but it's also part loan. So this is where you do have to pay the money back that they've given you. So a lot of individuals ask, well, how is OSAP aid determined? First, we look at the educational cost. So we're going to be looking at your tuition and fees. Are you in a high cost program like engineering or business, or in a lower cost program like psychology or English? Then we'll be looking at your living expenses. So are you choosing to live at home versus on campus? We'll be looking at your books and supplies, childcare, and travel expenses. Then we will be looking at the expected financial contribution. So beginning in 2017-2018, the government determined a fixed contribution amount from students. But due to COVID, the federal government has changed the expected contribution amount from $3,600 to $0 for the 2020-2021 year for students and spouses. It's important to note, though, that the expected financial contribution does remain intact for parents. This chart assumes a $0 parental contribution. Another key piece of information is that RESPs are not counted in assessing OSAP. So once we have these two key pieces of information, we are then able to calculate the financial need. So as I mentioned before, it's a mixture of grants and loans. So as your income increases, the share of aid that is non-repayable, so your grants, goes down. Additionally, we always tell students to view the OSAP aid estimator, which is found at the bottom of the screen. So it can kind of give you an idea, but this is not a guarantee on how much you may be able to receive. So this slide provides a nice visual of what an arts and science student may receive if they are living away from home and depending on the family income, where student A has a family income of $40,000 versus student B, which has an income of $100,000. A key piece of information we always want to tell students and parents is never to compare yourself to someone else, because every situation is different, and that means that the OSAP will be reflected on that situation. So please do not compare yourself with your friend or with someone you know, because again, every situation is different. So a lot of students ask, well, how much can I get from OSAP? So like we mentioned, the amount of OSAP that you can qualify for is based on your calculated financial need, which I already went over. So the maximum amounts are outlined below. However, you may be eligible for additional federal grants like the PD grant. So total funding can change during the year if you update your income. I also want to bring to your attention the bursary for students with disabilities. This provides $2,000 in additional funding to assist with educational costs. Students are eligible for this if they have a permanent disability, and this is defined as having a physical or mental impairment that restricts your ability to perform daily activities necessary to participate in studies at a post-secondary level, and that is expected to remain with you for your whole life. So the Canada Student Grant for Services and Equipment for Persons with Permanent Disabilities assists students with the costs of disability-related educational services and equipment. Assistance may be provided for disability-related accommodations such as note takers, tutors, interpreters, or technical aids while in school. The maximum funding for this is $20,000. So we've talked a lot about OSAP, but now you're probably wondering, well, how do I apply for it? The first step is to go online to the OSAP website and register and create a profile. You click on Apply for OSAP and start a new application. Key piece of information: make sure you are keeping track, whether it's on your phone, on a piece of paper, in a notebook, your access number and your passwords, because these are going to be important when you need to log back in to your OSAP application. You are going to need your class start and end date, your SIN number, your income tax information, as well as your parents' tax information. The OSAP application is pretty self-explanatory, but if you do require assistance, feel free to contact our office, and that information will be shared at the end of the presentation. So, full-time versus part-time applications. This is something you want to think about if you are choosing to be part-time for first semester or second semester or the whole year in your first year of university. So for OSAP purposes, students registered in at least a 60% course load are considered full-time. Students with a documented permanent disability must be registered in a minimum of 40 course load in order to be considered for full-time funding. So as previously mentioned, to be eligible for financial aid funding, a student must be taking a 60% full-time course load, and full-time is going to be determined by your specific program. At the University of Windsor, as long as a student is registered in an 80% course load, they pay full-time fees. Part-time is considered to be 20% to 59% of a full-time course load, so 3 to 6 credits. Part-time student loan funding does not include living expenses. Students with a permanent disability can apply for either the full-time or the part-time application if they are taking a 40% course load. So like I mentioned, please feel free to contact our office if you do have any questions. I know this can be a little overwhelming at first, but we are, again, always here to assist you. With completing your OSAP application, you will be required to print, sign, and upload any supporting documents that are required of you. And should you experience any issues or you need clarification, like I mentioned, please feel free to email us at award1@uwindsor.ca, and we'll be happy to assist you. Additionally, you're going to need to complete your Master Student Financial Assistant Agreement online form through the OSAP website, and your identity will be verified online. You will need an electronic signature and submit your loan documents. Key piece of information: please always check your application as well as your emails, as information that will be required of you will be posted through the portal and via email. Once your application is complete, you will receive a notice of assessment. And you're going to be receiving any notifications regarding your file via email, so please, please, please read your email. So some students will receive a notification to confirm their income. If your income changes during the academic year or is incorrect, you need to update the information. When confirming your income, please be honest and accurate with your income reporting. For financial aid purposes, even if you make zero income, you are required to file your income tax form so the government can verify your income. Confirming your income is important for the Student Access Guarantee Bursary. So if you have any questions, you have our email on this slide, and we'll also be providing it at the end of the presentation as well. So once you've completed your application through OSAP, the next part would be to receive OSAP funding if you are granted any. And this exact date on the arrival of the funds will be dependent on when you completed your application. Funding usually arrives via electronic funds transfer, and it's first deposited into your student account, and any remaining funds will be then deposited into your bank account. If you have questions or regarding the payment options, please feel free to contact the student accounts office, and their information will be found in the following slides. If you are receiving OSAP and the funding covers your outstanding balance, you do not have to make a payment by the fee deadline date. If your full tuition is not covered by OSAP, you need to pay the outstanding amount by the fall tuition deadline date, which is August 15th, in order to avoid late fees. You must have an OSAP assessment calculated within 3 business days of the fee deadline date for the term to avoid paying interest, which is 14%, on the anticipated aid amount that will be sent to the school, if less than the full amount of fees. An assessment will only be performed if you are not missing any documentation from your financial aid file. Remember, financial aid funds are sent directly to the university first, and then any remaining funds will be deposited into the student's bank account. So we've been getting a lot of questions regarding the enrollment verification document in order to withdraw any funds from your RESPs. So we refer to this document as the enrollment verification letter, and to access this, you will get it through your UWIN student site. So as you see, you'll have some steps here that are found on the screen, but you do not need to come to our office in order to access the proof of enrollment documents. If you have any additional questions regarding this, you can contact the registrar's office via email, and that email is found at the bottom of the screen. But again, I just want to highlight, you can access this document through the UWIN site student, and you do not need to contact our office in order to receive the documentation. So for the remainder of the presentation, I'm going to be talking about the Student Accounts Office, otherwise known as the Cashier's Office. And they are responsible for collecting the tuition and incidental fees charged on the student's account. The Cashier's Office ensures that all students are informed on their account-related services while adhering to confidentiality policies and regulations. The Cashier's Office is aware that many students use RESPs, awards, scholarships, and OSAP in order to fund their post-secondary education. They kindly ask that if you're using your RESP to clear the account and the funds will not be available to be submitted by the fee deadline day, that you please reach out to the Cashier's Office by August 15th, so as to ensure that they make note of your situation in order to prevent interest fees from being charged. As you can see on the slide, the Cashier's Office email is found on the slide so as to ensure you can contact them directly. For any student with a University of Windsor Scholarship Award and OSAP, these amounts will show up as anticipated aid. This amount will be collected and paid via these methods, and they will be deferred. Therefore, no payment is required for that amount. Any balance that is not covered by these fees is due on August 15th of the deadline day. So what does that mean? So if your tuition is worth $5,000 for first semester and you have a scholarship of $2,500, that means the $2,500 will be sitting on your account as anticipated aid, and the remaining balance, the other $2,500, will be due on August 15th. So the $2,500 that's not covered by the scholarship needs to be paid, otherwise it will start to gain interest.
As previously mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, it is really important to make note of these key dates found on this slide. First, we will look at the fee deadline date, which is August 15th, and this deadline date is for every fall term. The other deadline dates are December 15th for the winter term and May 15th for the summer term. The other important date to know for fall is the financial drop date. This is October 5th for the fall 2020 term. This means that any course drops done after this date will not result in any reduction in tuition and fees. So to be clear, after October 5th, you are 100% responsible for your fees. The easiest and most efficient way to make a payment is via web banking. To do this, you need to select the University of Windsor as the payee and use your 9-digit student ID as the account number. Other payment options can be found on the cashier's website. Should you have any questions, please check the cashier's website, as well as for any updates to the financial accounts as a result of COVID.
So, important dates for the student awards and financial aid side. For OSAP, please apply as soon as you can. Make sure that you are completing this before mid-July. For in-course bursary and donor award applications, like I mentioned, it will be open on August 1st, 2020, and the deadlines will vary for awards, and bursaries will be due October 15th, 2020. At the bottom, you'll see the payment fee deadlines again, so please make sure you are keeping note of these important dates. So today I talked about the impact of establishing realistic goals and expectations on how you are going to finance your university degree. It's so important that you create a plan so that you are not stressing about how you're going to be paying for your next semester. Researching your scholarships, bursaries, and financial aid opportunities will help you be prepared to use as many available resources as possible to make your university degree less financially stressful. Your budget and your plan will be your best friend and your foundation to creating a less financially stressful degree. Let's face it, this is going to be one of your biggest investments you're going to be making at this point in your life and maybe even in your lifetime. So you want to make sure that you're setting yourself up for success. So I want to thank you for listening to our presentation for the Student Awards and Financial Aid Office, as well as the Student Accounts Office. Should you have any questions or require clarification about anything I've spoken about, please feel free to contact both of our offices at the emails found on this slide. If you want to see up-to-date information about the University of Windsor's response to COVID-19, please access the following link found at the bottom of the screen. Again, I want to thank you for taking the time to find out more information about scholarships, bursaries, OSAP, and student fees. I hope that you have a great rest of your day and you are staying safe and healthy.
Hello everyone, so thank you for taking the time to listen to the presentation today. We are now going to open it up to taking your questions. So please ask your questions using the question tab and we will answer them through text, and we will bring the most frequently asked questions to our panelists so that everyone can hear them. If you want to ask questions via the exhibitor booth, please feel free to do so as well. So the first question that was asked is, how will OSAP be affected by CERB and the CESB payments? So I'd like to bring that to Mary Beth's attention. She is in charge of the OSAP side of our department, the Student Awards and Financial Aid Office.
Hey everyone, welcome to the University of Windsor. When you're filling out your OSAP application, you're going to report any of your CERB or CESB income information as employment income. You do not report it as government income, and it will be factored into your OSAP assessment just as it would if you were earning income while you were working. Students have the ability to earn up to $5,600 per semester and not have it affect the OSAP assessment. So I would just include it in that section. And if you have any other questions about that and require more detailed information, feel free to visit our exhibit booth. Thank you.
So another common question we get is, when will fall 2020 tuition fees be due? So we want to bring that to your attention again. You need to pay for your tuition by August 15th. And a lot of students ask, well, when will charges show up on our account? Charges will show up on your UInsight in early August. So please make sure that you're checking your UInsight and your UWindsor email on a regular basis. Another question that is being asked is, how will OSAP be affected for students living at home during the fall, but in residence during the winter? So Mary Beth, if you don't mind answering that question as well, that'd be great.
Hi, yes, so when you were going to be filling out your OSAP application, you're going to indicate that you are living at home for the fall semester, and then we will need you to update your application to indicate that you will be living away from home for the winter semester, and then the assessment will be updated accordingly. We'll be getting more information on that throughout the summer from the ministry on how they want us to process that, but for right now on your application, if you're going to be living at home, you indicate that as such, and then we can update it at a future date once we know what is happening with the winter term. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Beth. Another common question we often get is, how are scholarships paid out? So Marie, if you don't mind answering that question, that would be great.
Morning, everybody. When you receive a scholarship, it will be applied to your student account. You will be able to see that the scholarship will appear as anticipated aid on your student account. So that would mean, of course, Jacita had mentioned that you look at the anticipated aid, you look at what you owe, and you will only have to worry about what the anticipated aid does not cover, but you will receive the scholarship after the drop date. For example, in October, in the fall, it's October 5th. So generally it's about 3 weeks into the term. After the drop date, you will receive you will see the scholarship as being paid out on your student account. At that point, if there is a credit, you may request a credit and receive the funds via electronic transfer.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Marie. So I want to be cognizant of time. I know other individuals are going to be going to different presentations. So these were the most common questions we've received thus far, but I want to encourage you to please attend the booths for the fees and financial aid, where you would be able to ask questions to both the cashier's office as well as the OSAP side of our department and the student awards and financial aid section. So please feel free to jump on to the exhibit hall section of the attendee launch event, and we will be able to go through each of those questions and be able to assist you on a one-on-one basis. Thank you again for taking the time to attend our live session, and we hope you have a great rest of your day.